All right, people. So this time around, I'm gonna talk about Coca-Cola and see if this iconic brand is still worth buying in 2025. But first, about the gameplay in the background. I used to play for just for the fun of it, Chaos Nuketown when it was like when there was like a 24/7 playlist for it. And yeah, of course, it gets crazy and it kind of gets lame when people are calling all kinds of kill streaks, which is why I run the interceptors. I guess it's pretty cool. It's 2 shots for the harp and for the AC-130 or the dreadnought, and then like 1 shot for I'm thinking most of the other kill streaks too. But yeah, that's a bit of the gameplay of the background. Thought about switching into multiplayer instead of Warzone or Battlefield 1. But anyways, so to the stock of Coca-Cola, which is the ticket symbol is KO, which is kind of funny. You know, this brand is basically everywhere. If you had already sipped on the, you probably already have sipped on the Coca-Cola at a barbecue, at movies, or even in a hot summer day. And most likely already familiar with this brand that's been around for like 50+ years. But Coca-Cola isn't just a drink; it's basically a business empire. It sells over 2 billion of its product every single day in 200 different countries. We're not just talking about the soda Coca-Cola, right? The Coca-Cola company owns everything from Sprite, Fanta, Smart Water, Minute Maid, and even energy drinks like Body Armor. I personally never had Body Armor. Of course, I've had Sprite, Fanta, Smart Water, and Minute Maid. Just actually, to be honest, like I haven't even heard of Body Armor. But anyways, today we're gonna dive into the Coca-Cola stock. The ticket symbol is KO, to look at whether or not this company is still a smart to buy in year 2025. And like always, the breakdowns of these videos is just pros and cons, and sharing a bit of my portfolio with you guys, explaining if I own parts of the stock that I am reviewing. But yeah, right now I'm going to cover the pros and why investors love the Coca-Cola brand. The first pro is that it's powerful, has a global brand recognition. Coca-Cola is consistently ranked as one of the most valuable brands in the world. It has this red and white logo to it, and the signature bottle and the logo on the bottle that is recognized across multiple countries, cultures, and languages. The brand gives it a pricing power and built-in customer loyalty, which is definitely hard to beat. So one, it's just the brand recognition at a global scale. The second one is about massive distribution network. Coca-Cola has a global distribution network that's nearly impossible to replicate. It can get its products into cornerstones, restaurants, vending machines, stadiums all over the world. And this keeps KO, to the ticket symbol, to stay stable even when certain regions or markets face a setback. So the second one is a massive distribution network. Coca-Cola is sent to multiple countries, across multiple regions, and regardless of the economic stability that the local economy is experiencing, Coca-Cola is consistently still purchased. So the third point is a strong dividend history. Coca-Cola has paid a dividend for over 100 years, and it has increased its dividend annually for the past 600+. So this makes it a phenomenon known as the dividend king. So for income focused investors, this kind of reliability is a huge plus for those who are looking for consistent, both consistent returns of dividends and annual increases of those dividends. So it seems like it's definitely a good stock to invest into for those who are looking to buy. So the fourth pro is the resistant business model that it has. So people buy Coca-Cola in both good times and bad times, and I'm thinking about including economic downturns. But in general, like whenever somebody goes to the grocery store, it's very probable, because of how many companies, how many different products Coca-Cola owns. It's possible that we would just buy one of their products. So regardless of the person's situation, regardless of the economy, it's very possible that people will buy Coca-Cola. or Coca-Cola related products. So the fifth pro is diversifying beyond soda. So Coca-Cola has been actively expanding into water, juice, coffee, and energy drinks. So it also owns Costa Coffee, Honest Tea, and it is a major investor in the Monster beverage. So this shows that it's adapting to the ever changing customer preferences, especially the shift towards low sugar and health conscious products. So beyond owning soda products like Minute Maid, Fanta, and of course Coca-Cola, it has been transitioning into owning products that are more towards those who are more health conscious. So Costa Coffee for all of the tea lovers and or coffee and tea, and it just shows that they are open to adapt to the customer preferences and invest and own certain products that are more healthy. So onto the opposition arguments, also known as the cons. What to watch before investing in Coca-Cola, right? So the first one is the growth. It's a slow growth compared to other industries like tech companies and finance tech. So Coca-Cola isn't necessarily a growth stock. Revenues and earnings slowly grow and steadily grows, but you won't see big spikes. So for those investors who are looking for fast gains, Coca-Cola isn't one of them. Coca-Cola is meant for the long run. The second con for owning Coca-Cola is the health concerns around sugar. As customers become more health conscious, sugary soft drinks have been more target for those who are insisting there be certain regulations to the amount of sugar added to certain products, and of course the assistance to have more health conscious products out there in the market. So while Coca-Cola is adapting, the core brand still faces pressure from changing its habits as having tons of sugar in its products. The third opposition point would be I think the global exposure that it has. So Coca-Cola operates in almost every country, and this is great, but it's also risky when it comes to local currency fluctuations, geopolitical issues, and regional instability. A strong U.S. dollar, for example, can hurt earnings from overseas profits. So all of this is saying is, if the currency weakens, then of course it takes the value of a product to go lower in order to meet the lower demand for or the lower purchasing power of a certain individual. Now, what this means for the US dollar is that because it takes a lot less of the local currency to buy the product, then when it comes to transitioning that currency to the US dollar, it seems to be a lot less than what is more acceptable or more expected when it comes to the typical price for the same product here in the US. So prices can vary. The instability of the economy, as well as the purchasing power of the local customer, will definitely impact the overall price of the product, which yields to a less earnings overall compared to the U.S. market. So the fourth con is competition in a beverage market. So Coca-Cola isn't alone, as we all know. It competes with PepsiCo, competes with other local brands, and tons of startups in the health and energy drink space. While its brand is strong, it must continue to innovate to maintain its market share. So the fifth one is valuation can be a bit pricey for a slow grower. Sometimes the Coca-Cola stock trades at a higher valuation than its growth rate might justify. while it's a stable company, investors may need to be mindful of paying too much for a modest return. So all this is saying is that because it seems a bit pricey, then we should be cognizant of that price compared to the yields that it gives. So now I want to ask everybody here, like, who is Coca-Cola best for? So Coca-Cola isn't for thrill seekers, but if you want a steady, reliable company that pays you to hold a stock, then Coca-Cola is definitely that type of stock for those investors. If it's well in portfolios that value dividends, stability, and global reach, it is a classic buy and hold stock, one that you might not check on every day, but you're glad it's there when the market gets choppy. Okay, so my closing thoughts and the call to action that I invite everybody here to consider is that Coca-Cola is more than just a drink. It is a symbol of consistency, a reliable brand with a global outreach. It is not the flashiest investment, but sometimes the quiet companies are probably the ones that deliver over time. So what do you think? Is Coca-Cola still a stock, still a must-have stock in your portfolio, or do you think it's time to look towards newer and faster companies? So personally, I do own some Coca-Cola, and I have seen it yield certain returns. I just wish that it has grown throughout the years that I've owned Coca-Cola. Overall, I think it has definitely yielded lots of dividends, and naturally the stock grows over time, right? Or at least in my case, I've seen the stock grow. I think overall, based on my experience of holding it for maybe 2 to 3 years, I started investing when COVID hit. I'm thinking that I'm just satisfied. I'm not overly satisfied. I'm not too satisfied. I think just enough to still continue owning it, and just wait until I guess I need to sell or whatever, or own enough of Coca-Cola to justify just selling it, or to justify living off the dividends that it gives me. Fortunately, I'm not there yet, so it might be a while. But anyways, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video and the stock itself. So if you got value from this breakdown, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this, and let me know what stocks you'd like to see next. I think the other one on my list is either MasterCard or PepsiCo itself. Alright then, fellas, later.
Hostile counter UAV established above. Enemy UAV inbound. Hostile UAV established overhead. Control zone.
Enemy with Semtex. Was that your best shot?